boy. He's all nicely tied up so he can't jump on me today. We're going to do some more exercises in the kitchen, and I hope you're well. Hope you're going okay as we move through this easing of restrictions for the coronavirus, and I hope that you're enjoying the beautiful weather that we're experiencing now as we come into winter. You can see that I've got no shoes on today, and that's because I wanted to do some foot exercises. We haven't done these before, but some of you I know have bunions and arthritis in your feet. So I thought we'd start with our feet today, and if you want, we can come up a little closer so you get a good shot of my feet there. Okay, so one of my feet is starting to develop a bunion here. You can see that. That's from a mishap I had on a motorbike one year, but it's developing into a bunion, and you can tell it's a bunion because this part is sticking out more than it should, and there's an abnormal bony growth. Also, the angle of the big toe and the bones here are getting, what would you say, pushed across. So it's sort of a mild to moderate stage at the moment, and there's still time to be able to correct that. So what we need to do, if you've got a foot like that, or if you do have a bunion already, you can do some toe exercises that strengthen this part of your foot. So one of the things you can do is strengthen the arch of your foot here. So that just involves keeping the big toe across like that. Yes, hello. And you can do that, you can get a rubber band, or you can just use your hand. Let's try it with the rubber band first. Preferably I'd like something a little more stronger. This is all I could find in the kitchen today. But what we're going to do is use the rubber band to keep the toes apart. So the big toes apart from the little toes. And we're just going to do some exercises with the big toes that way. So we're just going to lift and lower the big toes. Okay, you can do it, this rubber band's not really strong enough, it's too flimsy, but that's the general idea. If you've got a stronger one, you can use a hair tie as well if you have one of those lying around, or you could even just tie something between them if it has a bit of stretch. You can even use your fingers. So I can push my big toes across, and I can try and move them independently from the rest of my toes. So I'm going to drop my little toes down and try and hold my toes across there. I'm not doing a very good job of that actually. There we go. Up and down, up and down. It takes a bit of practice and time. So also what we can do is try and spread the toes and put the little ones down first and then the big ones. So we're keeping the little ones down on the floor and then we're putting the big ones down. You can see there's a difference between my feet, and I need to do a bit more work on this foot, the one that's forming the bunion. You can see it's not moving the same as this one. So we're going to press the little toes down, and then we're going to drop the big toes. So what you can do that at home. Just try and separate the movement of the toes. And you'll feel that these muscles here start to have to work more strongly. Okay, so they're the toes. Another thing we can do to keep our toes supple, we can do all sorts of things really, but we can point with our big toe and write our name with the big toe. Big toes don't usually get a bit of much workout, do they? So I'm just writing an M there for my initial. You might write your initial or your name, and same with the other toe. Okay, we can spread our toes out, and we can hold them out and that way, or we can push against our fingers this way. So push towards the center. And we can also take the foot up, drop the small toes, and then try and independently drop the big toe. So take the toes up, drop the small toes, and independently drop the big toe. It takes a bit of practice to do that. The other thing we can do is in our standing up exercise, just hold on to your bench, go up on our toes and rolling from front to back so that we keep our joints supple and mobile that way. So we're really rolling through, and as I'm doing this, I'm rolling from the edges around, and it's almost like a circular motion. And now go the other direction. In circles. Okay, another thing you can do is bend them down this way. So you can see I'm pushing my toe forwards. I'm bending it under. So I'm just trying to keep the joints supple doing that. And you can roll it around. It feels nicer on something soft. It's a bit hard on the tiles. Okay, so we're just rolling that around, keeping our joints supple. Something else you can do is get a tennis ball, or I just happen to have a can here. And if you have plantar fasciitis, if you get tender under here, a bit of pain under this part of your foot, you can roll. It probably works better with a tennis ball, and I actually do have one, I can see, but if I had a tennis ball, I could roll it around. Okay, just wait there for me. I'm just going to grab that tennis ball and show you. Oh, actually, it's not a tennis ball. Okay, this is not a tennis ball, but it gives you the general idea. So you roll it around, really press it into your foot. It feels really good, gives it a bit of a massage. Some people say use a bottle, or anyway, you get the idea. So just do that. If you've got something you can roll your foot around, give it a nice little massage and stretch out that tight under surface of your foot. And this is where the plantar fascia can get tight. I might go back to my can, do it with my can. This is more effective for me. But just see what you can find at home. You can roll that around. Okay, now did you know that your calf muscles are a pump? And if you are able to pump your feet up and down like that, you can help reduce the swelling in your feet. So if you come to the afternoon, by the afternoon you might have swollen ankles, what you can do is put your feet up on a footstool so that gravity's assisting, and make your feet pump up and down like this. So imagine that I've got a footstool there and I'm pumping my foot back and forward, and that's activating my calf muscle to act as a calf muscle pump. Pump the fluid back towards the heart with a bit of gravity assist. Try and do that if your ankles are getting swollen. It's not good to let the fluid pool at the ankles. It can cause skin changes after a while, and we call those trophic changes, and the skin can actually get all woody, and the circulation can stagnate, and you can get cellulitis. So we don't want that to develop. If you do happen to have puffy ankles or swollen ankles, just give this a go. Even if you can't move around very much, you can still put your feet up on a footstool and just pump those feet. Even once every half hour, give them a good going. a good going over. Okay, now today we're going to use tins of, these are tomatoes, and they're only 400 grams, but what we can do is use them as weights. So try and find something in your pantry, two lots of even weighted tins. You could use drink bottles, you could use tins of beans, whatever you've got. Okay, so we're going to now do our routine for our shoulders, and it's just some nice gentle stretching, and then we'll do some standing up exercises. So, nice deep breath. Okay, turn your head one way and the other way, and again back towards the other way and back towards the other way. Okay, take your chin down to your chest and then up to the ceiling and down again. And now we're going to go pointing our nose down towards the outside of our knee, right down to the floor, so we're getting a stretch down here, and give it a nice stretch. And breathe in, breathe out again. And come back and do the other side. So point your nose down to the other knee and down to the floor. A nice stretch between your neck and shoulder. And come up. And now we're going to rotate our shoulders. And I've got my tins of tomato in my hands. You might have your beans, whatever you've got. So I'm rotating my shoulders backwards and breathing and rotating forwards. Nice deep breaths in and out. And back again. Great. And remember to tuck your chin in. Okay, let's take the tins up towards the sky. So we're going up and down. Up and down. Give it a nice full range of movement there. Stretch your spine up as you do this. And now we're going to change. We're going to go out and in. Out and in. Try and keep your elbows up at 90 degrees. And now we're going to turn our hands underneath. So we're going to have our hands coming underneath. So if you don't have very good vision and you're trying to understand what I mean, all I'm doing, I'm having my elbows out to 90 degrees. I'm tucking my hands under and going out. Stretching my arm out and then tucking them under towards my armpits. So that's really exercising the back of my arms. I keep banging my can on the bench, so I'm going to stand up. But if you have a chair and you're safer in your chair, then do it that way. Okay, now I'm going to take one arm up as high as I can, and I'm going to lean over a little bit. So I'm getting an arm stretch and a side stretch. And back. Now we'll do the other side. Take the other arm up as high as we can. Lean across. And come down. Let's do it one more time on each side. Arm up. Lean across to one side. And come back, and the other side, arm up as high as you can, leaning across. Okay, now I'm just going to come across here to my wall, I'm going to put one weight down. I've got one weight in my outer arm. I'm going to lean into my wall and I'm taking my feet out slightly so I'm on an angle, and I'm going to lean into the wall with my touch up to the wall as high as I can, and then I'm going to walk my feet back towards the wall so I'm getting a side stretch. And I'm pushing my hips outwards. Okay, and now I'm going to turn around and do that on the other side. So I'm going to swap the can to the other arm. I'm going to put my feet out from the wall, maybe probably about 30 centimetres from the wall. I'm leaning on the wall for support. I'm going to take my arm up, reach up as high as I can, and then I'm going to walk back towards the wall, just little dolly steps sideways. So I'm getting a nice stretch when I do that along my side. Okay, great. Now I'm just going to grab my cans again, and I'm going to, I could stand against the wall for support if my balance is poor. I'm going to press my back into the wall. This is like a core stability exercise, as well as this is the arm straightening one. So can you see what I'm doing here? I'm just taking my arm straight back, and I've got the tin in it, tin of tomatoes. Trying to press my chin in and my back in towards the wall. See how close I can get towards that wall. And I'm taking my arm back. And now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. You won't be able to see me doing that on the other side, so I'm just going to turn towards you. You can just do it on the other side if you've got a doorway or something. I'll just do it this way. I'm taking my arm back as if I was pushing against something and moving it backwards. Pushing against a resistance. And this is exercising the back of my shoulder. And now I'm going to bring them both. I've got the cans behind me. I'm going to bring them back at the same time. So I'm squeezing my shoulder blades, and what I'm doing, I'm moving my shoulder blades down and back, and I'm tucking my chin in as far as I can. So I'll just show you what that looks like from behind. And I'm just lifting my arms back with those chins in it, just straight. Okay, let's move to some leg exercises now. I'm going to do my squats. So this is the way you can do it. If you want to protect your balance, you can put your hands on the bench. And we're just going down and back, down and up, bending our knees and our hips. For more challenge, we can take our hands above our bench. And for even more challenge, we can cross our arms on our shoulders. And if we want to make it even harder, clasp your hands together like this. Keep your back straight and really squat down. And you'll feel that in your thighs and in your buttocks. While you're doing that, just try and remember to spread your toes. So plant your feet on the floor and spread your toes out at the same time as doing this exercise. Okay, that's enough of that one. So let's, now we're going to do our side hip exercise. So I'm just taking, I'll just give you the angle there. I'm just taking the hips straight out. I'm taking a straight leg straight out from the body, and I'm leading with the side of my foot. I'm not allowing my foot to point. I'm just keeping the border of my foot straight, so my toes are facing forwards. So we'll do that. Okay, we'll just do a few more. Keep your body up tall if you can. And now the other side. 7, 8, 9, and 10. So those exercises are for maintaining leg strength and hip strength, which is particularly important when you're walking along. You want to transfer your weight from one leg to the other. Okay, another one we can do is, I'm just thinking of the different ways, the different levels. Okay, how about we'll do one here in the chair for people who are sitting in the chair. We're just going to take our leg out and in. So this is just greasing up our hip socket. Especially good on these cold mornings. Get those joints nice and warm. Okay, other leg. In. Okay, so now for the people who are standing up, I'm just going to move my chair. We're going to take one leg in front, and we're just going to lunge down a bit and then come up, down and up. And this is sort of a balance exercise. You can hold onto your bench if you need some support. So we're just doing this. Now what we can do is add in the leaning and reaching and leaning. And this is a balance and a strength exercise. Now if you need some support, remember to hold onto your bench. Okay, other leg. And you can hold on like this if you need to, or if you're feeling more confident, we're just going to reach and lean. And we can do variations of that. So we can pick up our tins again, and we might just do some reaching and leaning in one direction like this, and in the other direction like this. I just need a bit more room here. Okay, so make sure you have room. Make sure I have room. Here we go. We're just going to reach and lean. We're taking a weight across from one side to the other, and we're reaching and leaning, and we're adding the challenge with these tins. Now, I do happen to have a weight here. This is a weight you can just purchase if you want to from one of our leading name department stores, sports stores. You don't have to buy weights. You can easily find something in your own kitchen that suit the purpose. But if I was going to add a weight in, make sure your posture's good, make sure you've switched on your core, and we can do this sort of thing. Okay, I'm not going to use that very often because I think that most people probably won't have a weight like that. So we're just going to stick with our easy to find things out of our kitchen cupboard. That's pretty much all I wanted to do with you today, and I wish you well. See you Wednesday. Bye.